What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be reviewing Bad Boys LA Season 1, Episode 8 on Zeus Network. And before we start our review, I ask that you like, subscribe, and comment. And without further notice, let's get into our review. And, Carry On and Gutta and Dylan, they're talking about the events that have transpired, from Milan and Carry On fighting to the whole thing with Jonathan. And I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to say about all that, but the main thing that stuck out to me like a sore thumb in that scene was Dylan sure did have a lot to say about Jonathan. And I mean, I know it's probably because Milan had his back when he got jumped, but I don't know. He's really riding hard for Milan, I guess. You know. I mean, I I I don't know why you got so much to say though about Jonathan though, but anywho, he ain't done nothing to you, but and then after that whole thing, because they were really just talking about everything that happened in that we saw in the previous episode, and kind of briefly touched on the party that they were gonna have that night, you know. So then it moves on to Curtis, Mula, and Relly. Um, so basically it starts off with Curtis and Mula talking about the party, how, they're gonna be having ass in their face and stuff like that, which but then Relly comes into the room and it seems like he's growing closer to Curtis, and he's becoming somewhat okay with Moolah. Like, I mean, I don't think there was really a whole lot of animosity between him and Moolah to begin with, but I don't know. I guess it seems like, they're all kind of growing closer, those three. And I mean, I guess I kind of saw that with the lives that have been happening since they've been since they've been done filming, because it seems like Relly has been going live with Curtis a lot. So, I mean, which is good. I mean, hey, honestly, I did kind of want to see something like that happen. Like, I wanted them to be cool anyways. So, I mean, that's all I really have to say about that. But so then we fast forward to the night of the party. Of course there was those few things in between, Anthony preparing for the party and so forth, getting everything together. But then we get to the scene where Carry On's trying to light this fire. I don't know what he was doing, but he was not lighting that fire. He needed some lighter fluid to start that fire, okay? But he was up here lighting paper on fire, trying to get a fire started, I guess. But it just wasn't happening for him, man. Even Milan, not Milan, even Relly, he's like, what are you doing? And Carry On's like, I'm starting a fire. So, he's like, you're not going to start, you're not really doing a good job of starting that fire. So anyways, long story short, they talk about everything, and, Relly brings Milan over there, and he's like, he basically gets Milan and Carry On to somewhat make up, I guess, which I don't know why this couldn't have happened already, like, kind of, because they were talking about, all right, before the whole fashion show thing, not to go back a good few steps, but like, I feel like that could have easily happened before the fashion show. I don't know. I mean, a lot of things could have happened before the fashion show, but it's whatever, I guess. But I guess it's, water under the bridge for now with Milan and Carry On, you know. So then we go over to Milan, Curtis, and Mula. They're, It's apparently 10:40 or something like that, and guests have not shown up. Like no party guests have shown up, and I'm just like, and I'm pretty sure somebody also said this in the episode. They were like, "What happened to Anthony, the party promoter, and stuff like that?" You know, and that's what I was thinking. Like, if you're this party promoter, why aren't people in here? But so then Milan says, basically he's gonna get some people up in there, to get some guests and everything. So Milan's guests and his strippers pull up, and the party's started at this point. Um, and we notice William pulls up, and I'm pretty sure Milan invited him at this point. Um, but yeah, we see a lot of familiar faces. We saw Natalie there. Natalie was there at the party. She actually kept a pretty low profile in this episode. They really didn't have her all in the mix in this episode, which that's fine. Um, but yeah, we noticed Winnie Stacks is there. The guy who was running the fashion show, the charity fashion show. He's there. And he calls all the boys for a group huddle, basically saying, hey, you guys have been doing a lot for me, here with this charity thing and all that. And then he's like, I don't appreciate the drama that happened at my fashion show, but because it was a charity event. But then Milan takes it upon himself to basically apologize once again for how he acted. Okay. Um, so then, he's like, well, me and Carry On, we, put our stuff aside for this party tonight. And he's like, because, William also joined this huddle or whatever. I'm like, you weren't even in the house when this shit happened, so you weren't in the house when this happened, so I don't know. But yeah, William was a part of that group. And basically, Milan takes it upon himself to say that, William and Anthony should squash their beef. And, I know while he's talking, I guess Anthony is about to say something. And then William runs up on Anthony, which this caught me off guard because by the previews, it made it look like Anthony ran up on William, but it was actually William that ran up on Anthony. So that happened, and Anthony got William. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, Anthony got him, and of course, Anthony throws him in the pool, which good. But Anthony was like, Anthony says that he was going to apologize. That's what he was about to say before William ran up. Which why William running up, but meanwhile you got ran out of the house. It makes no sense to me because how do you go from being ran out of the house by Moolah to all of a sudden wanting to run up on Anthony? And I don't know, I don't know. I kind of feel like it was at this point you want to run up on like the quieter one in the house. I don't know. It was weird. But anywho, so then, we get into like the aftermath of the fight. William and Milan are in a separate room, away from all the partying and the guests and stuff. And, Milan's kind of having a talk with him. He's like, why did you run up on Anthony? And then William says, they were supposed to be friends like months before they got on the show, 6 months before they got on the show. Um, he was saying basically Anthony tried to get him off the show by like showing screenshots and stuff like that, saying, basically breaking the rules of saying, you can't say if you're a part of the cast or not, uh, which, in my opinion, my problem with that, what he said there is like, okay, so you had this issue with him, but why didn't you do anything when you were in the house with him? You know what I'm saying? It's really kind of giving the vibes that like that he was out here looking for camera time. That's the vibes I got. Because why would you even run up on him just now? Like why just now do you decide to, you know, get these issues out? Because you sure look like you were just kind of vibing with him a little bit when you were in the house, but but now all of a sudden, he wants to get his. Never mind. I'm not going to talk any further about that because I don't know. It was this whole situation was just annoying, and quite frankly, I didn't even take a whole lot of notes this episode. To be honest, it's just I feel like it was just a whole bunch of nothing. Personally, it. And it's the editing for me. It's just like we're just going in circles. I feel like there's stuff that I feel like they could have just cut out of the episode. Personally, yeah. So while the whole thing with Milan and William is going on, Gutta is getting ready to fight. Like he, put his hair up, he changed clothes, and he's talking about you attacked my bitch and nah. You know how Gutta is. You know how Gutta is. Gutta was ready. He was ready. Um, but and Relly is in the middle of all of this. Relly's up here talking to Gutta, trying to calm him down. And then he goes over to William and lets him know, like, hey, Gutta wants to smoke. And then basically William's like, oh no, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I'm cool with him. Like, okay. I'm not saying he had to fight him, but it's just like, I don't know. It seemed like he came there ready just to fight in general. Like, I don't know. Like, the way how he was dressed. Because, William is not going to show up to a party dressed like that. We all know how William goes dressed up to parties and clubs and stuff. Like, we know. He would go there in that whole... He would go there and... No, we're not going to even talk about that. But, we know he would not go to a party dressed up like that. So, really goes back and tells Gutta, like, hey, he does not want to fight. He says he doesn't got a problem with you, you know. So, Gutta's friends are in the room. They're trying to calm him down too, and, they're trying to get him to take a shot. They're trying to get him to take a shot. And he's basically like, I'm not going to go fight him, but at the same time, I'm going to stay ready, So he's like, I'm not going to change back, which, okay. I mean, it makes sense because it was weird how William just came there and all of a sudden wants to run up, you know. So I don't blame him in that situation. I mean, even though it didn't really have nothing to do with him, but I don't blame Gutta for being ready, for staying ready, in that situation. So, of course, William is in the other room looking like a sad lost puppy. Like, it was giving, like, horror movie victim. He's sitting there, like, are you okay? You came here to fight. So now all of a sudden you want to act all scared now that you got your ass beat and you got thrown in a pool. Like, this whole situation was just stupid, and I can already tell it was instigated uh, and set up. I don't know. It probably was even a fake fight, to be honest with you. I don't know. But I'm not even going to start right now. I'm just gonna wait till I get into my final thoughts to give my opinion on certain stuff. So, anyways, William, he's like, oh, I want to leave, and Relly's like, you're okay to leave. We're gonna make sure you don't get attacked or nothing on your way out. So, of course, finally it cuts to William just leaving the party, looking once again like he's in a horror movie about to be a murder victim. I'm like, just get in the car. Like nobody's coming after you. Just get in the car, William. So anyways, then after that, that's when Rio pulls up, you know. Rio, I guess they're I guess that at this point they've made Rio an official like replacement or something. Probably replacement for William, I guess. That it's weird. So, Rio has this whole introduction. Rio has this whole introduction and you know, I Rio, see, I don't really I haven't really see the thing is I didn't really know a lot about Rio at all, cuz before this show started, I really didn't even know who was on the cast. And I definitely didn't know any of the replacements except for Jonathan. And I think these are only two replacements actually. But, you know, I don't have a whole lot to say about Rio. He just kind of came in and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm 20." I don't even remember how old he said he was, but he's from Memphis, I believe. Cool. But he's just kind of one of those where I was just like, mm. And like I said, I don't really have an opinion developed on him yet. Other than being, it seemed like he's kind of like Milan's lapdog, but I'm not gonna go hard on him just yet. So so Rio and Milan, of course, they meet up and at the party, and I guess Jonathan's talking about like he basically repeats what he did in the last episode when he called Rio. He's like, I feel like I don't trust any of the guys in the house, and I feel like they're gonna jump me and stuff like that. I'm like, no, that is not what it is. That is not what it is, Milan. We all know Jonathan came in the house and matched your energy you gave in the first episode, and you got scared. You got scared. You just got scared. That's what it is at the end of the day. You know. So then there's just more of the party at this point. Milan and Rio have gone inside, back into the party, and Jonathan, has shown up, basically with like Natalie and stuff like that. And, he's like, "Oh, it's a party. They're having a party without me," or something like that. You know how Jonathan talks. But you know he, but Jonathan, comes in for a little bit. Then he goes back outside, and then he comes back with like all his luggage and bags and stuff. And, then of course Milan's peeking around the corner. He notices that Jonathan is going upstairs with his luggage and stuff. and in the confessional, he's like, I don't know what the situation is, what room he's gonna be sleeping in, but I'm, and where he's going up there, but I'm not giving up my room. And I'm like, Milan, you know good and damn well where he's going. He was stuck on that room that entire last episode. You mean tell me you don't know where he's going? You know exactly where he's going. But um, then he turns to Rio, he's like, let's go upstairs. Let's follow him. So, Jonathan's of course put his stuff down in Milan's room. He's unpacking stuff, this and that. And then, Rio and Milan come up there, and then Milan's like, so, I don't have a problem with you. I don't want to fight you. And I'm like, we been knew you don't want to fight him. We knew, like, of course you don't have a problem with him because he matched your energy. So now you can't take it now that it's somebody that you can't punk, basically. Because we know, had that had been Dylan or somebody, he would have been popped him. Let that have been Carry On talking about, oh, this is my room. He would have been popped him. But so then they get to talking, going back and forth once again over this room. It's basically the same conversation that they had the entire last 20 minutes of the last episode. But then you know Jonathan's like, well, I told you. And then Rio's like, what'd you tell him? And I'm like, Rio, shut the fuck up. But yeah, then Rio's like, well, what did you tell him? And then Jonathan's like, that is my room. And then Rio's like, it's not your room. Then he starts taking his jacket off. And I'm like, this is bold energy for somebody you just met. I, you're playing lapdog. This is a dangerous game. You don't even know him. But what can you do? Anywho, they get the fight in. And, of course, we know that Jonathan beat the absolute hell out of him, which, then we go into the sneak peek for the next episode. So in the sneak peek, like I said, I didn't take a whole lot of notes this episode, but it's a lot of stuff that happens in the next episode. But we get, of course, a continuation of the Jonathan and Rio fight. And I guess police show up at the party. That's how bad it got, with this fight. Um, and then another thing, the chair incident. I guess that's gonna happen in the next episode, where this thing that's been going on, that this video that's been going around of Jonathan smacking Rio with a chair, running after him in the front yard. I'm like, but I guess Rio went to the hospital after that chair incident. And because Milan's like, he's in the hospital, and then Milan, I know it's one thing Milan said. He's like, I gotta get out of here, And I'm like, oh, so you're gonna let him run you out the house, basically? You're gonna let Jonathan run you out the house? I don't know if that's what he meant, that he's leaving, but if he is, Mr. Milan Christopher, you really. But yeah, that's basically the what happened in this episode. Final thoughts. I really don't have too much to say regarding like what's happened in the episode itself, but I got a problem mostly with how it's how this how these episodes are being edited. Like, I just feel like they show too much of nothing, if that makes any sense. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's really getting irritating that we're on like the same day for an entire episode. Like, there's some stuff that could be cut out. And I do realize that like that would probably cut the season short, but at the end of the day, they chose to only film probably for what, like 2 weeks or something. Whereas Oxygen, they used to film like for a good few months, you know? So I don't know. It it I don't know. I mean, that's not our problem though, because y'all just need to up your game with how much you're filming. And if you need to hire more staff. I mean, just get more staff. I mean, unless they're being too cheap to hire more staff, but it's just, this really ain't it, like on the production aspect of it. But one thing I will go into one of the things I will go into episode wise, I feel like William definitely was out here trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. He came to that party to fight. Because like I said, we all know how William would dress at a party. He'd be showing his ass and shit. It's like, we know he would be showing his ass, but yeah. But another thing, also, did anybody notice that Dylan was nowhere to be found at this party? Like, where was he? I mean, not that it made any difference. He doesn't do anything anyways, but where was he? So, anyways, um, it was really weird to me how Milan, when he was in the room with William, how he was like hyping William up. He's like, "Oh yeah, that was bad boy stuff. You did the dang thing," and I'm like, mm-mm, mm-mm. But then also I noticed that when he went, Milan at one point did go to talk to Gutta when Gutta was all riled up, and he's like, oh, just let him go. He already embarrassed himself. He got beat up. This and that. He's already gotten embarrassed. He got thrown in the pool. And I'm like, but weren't you just hyping him up? But you just now all of a sudden want to talk like, I don't know. That was just weird to me. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. But overall, I mean, I really didn't have too much to say about this episode. So yeah, I'll just leave a comment. Let me know your opinions and thoughts on what happened in this episode. But I don't know. It just wasn't this episode just didn't do it for me personally. But yeah, see you in the next review.